Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. The November 2026 elections will be determined fairly or not largely on the status of the economy. The left knows that. They know two things. One, that the enormous projected gain in oil and natural gas production. Two, the deregulation and tax cuts involved in the big, beautiful bill that will kick in full in 2026, and some $10 trillion in foreign investment, even if that's maybe only half of what's promised, but that's an enormous amount, 7 or 8 times more than Biden received in his last year of office. You add all of that up, an economy right now that is doing well, and Black Friday following Thanksgiving had almost $11 billion in online sales. That was a record, not just better than last year at this time under the Biden administration, but better than in any time in history. So the economy is already strong, and you can imagine that these catalysts and this stimuli that are coming, deregulation, tax reduction, massive foreign investment, expelling 2 million people from the United States per year who were probably on social assistance, involved in many cases of crime. You can see what's going to happen. The economy is going to boom in 2026, and the left knows it. So what is their strategy? Don't talk about the Trump economy. And we've seen what? Go after Tesla. Firebomb Tesla dealerships. Drive Tesla off, automobiles off the road, because Elon Musk is a prince of darkness, and he was involved in DOGE, demonize DOGE. Go after ICE. Have street theater, have riots, call them Gestapo, say they're worse than Hitler. Go after the National Guard that has cleaned up Washington, D.C., encouraged massive resistance. Call it illegal. Shut down the government. Shut down the government for longer than any period in history, 40 days. Shut it down for no purpose. It gained nothing. Supposedly it gained nothing. Shut it down. Have major senators on the Democratic side and representatives cut a video. Have them tell the American soldiers, all 1.3 million active duty strong, you don't have to obey an order if in your legal wisdom, your vast knowledge of jurisprudence, if you're a private, and he says, go over that hill, I don't have to do it, it's illegal. Create disruption. And the piece of resistance, the Epstein files. You have the Epstein files for 4 years under Joe Biden, Democrats. You knew that Donald Trump expelled him from his circle of friends before he was convicted of anything. But there are about 80% or 90% of people in the so-called Epstein files. These are emails, these are text messages, these are transcripts from court proceedings, these may be IRS files, but 80 to 90% are Democrats. That's why it was not released during the Democratic administration. But no matter, just say Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein files, Epstein file. And so Donald Trump finally says, okay, they're released. And what do we hear? Crickets. Maybe a little bit about Larry Summers, Democrat, but silence. Why doesn't the left demand that every single name be released? Because they have more Democratic donors than Trump has Republican donors that are mentioning it. So the Epstein files, like the shutdown, like the street theater, like all the videos, like all the smutty language, they were designed for one point, one reason, one goal. Keep your mind off the economy. Create a word called affordability. The real message is we Democrats raised prices by 21% when we were in power, 5.2% per year. We had enormous budget deficits. We ran the debt up by $8 trillion. We had a $1.1 trillion deficit. Don't talk about that. Just say that Donald Trump in 10 months has a 3% inflation rate, the same as when he entered office. And therefore, he's responsible for the 21% that we ran up, and we'll call it affordability. My message to the Trump administration and all of you listening is tune out all of the street theater, all the pornography, all the smutty language, all the insurrectionary activity and just focus on the economy and talk 2 points. 2 points. How much better it is already than the average of the 4 years prior, but more importantly, demonstrate why it's going to be booming in 2026 and why the Democrats don't want you to think about that. Thank you very much. Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Signal. Please like, share, and subscribe to be notified for more content like this. You can also check out my own website at victorhanson.com and subscribe for exclusive features in addition.